Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, where today, well, we tackle Riku's version of City de la Cloches. Ready, set, dive! Yeah! Yeah, it's not quite as jovial as the other music, so you don't get your typical yeah! But anyway, this is our first Dream Eater boss fight that we have to take out. Basically a giant version of Flower Fucker. Basically, we need to pretty much take out all the usual Dream Eaters guarding it. It'll expose its weak point, go in for the slam, and, you know, eventually use your laser blast to take it down if you get the ability to do so. And, bada bing, you do the thing. Hit all the Dream Eater butts. And, collect a high enough point threshold. I'm actually quite surprised that I actually end up getting the gold in this one, but, yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. Just avoid attacks, hit its fuck me light on the top of its head. Kinda looks like a metalhead from Jak and Daxter, actually. Oh well. Either way, not too big of a health bar to really take down, so, yeah. You usually have to give it around about like 2 or 3 passes before you can take it down fully, as it does have multiple health bars, but yeah, by the time that's done, you're free to enter the world. Which is, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's gone! And now it can fall into the city of Paris where they're like, Sacre bleu! A giant bug is falling onto the city! Oh no! Protect the wine and the smelly cheese and the... the fucking Ubisoft! Ugh, God. A water barrel! That is completely useless to me.
Stop her!
Huh? You there! Have you seen a gypsy woman?
Nope. Sorry.
All right. Thanks. I'm terribly sorry, sir. We've lost her.
Slippery vermin. I'm beginning to question having summoned you back from the wars, Captain Phoebus.
Thank you. You stood up for me. I'm Esmeralda.
Riku. And it's not like I know what a gypsy is. Why are they chasing you?
Judge Frollo has been hunting us for years. We gypsies are guilty of nothing but loving our freedom. Yet Frollo hates whatever he can't control. Now he's even brought in fresh blood to torment us. I'd hate to know what darkness drives that man.
I think I can imagine. Tell me more. Was he always like this?
I don't give Frollo much thought. But, if you'd like, you could try Notre Dame. They say it's a place for answers.
And so now we turn to Frollo's darkness, really. And, yeah, whereas Sora was, you know, more or less on the side of Quasi, here we get to see Riku more or less exploring a bit more of Frollo's, well... yeah, just a lot more of the guy's, you know, inner darkness. Something that Riku has plenty of experience with, and, well, in turn, as we explore throughout this world, and, well, coming up in a, you know, little section not too far off from here, is very much going to play into his character in terms of, well, yeah, he's still dealing with a lot of insecurities. By the way, we have a new Dream Eater into our party. This is, you know, Sir Kiru. Basically, well, a sort of Dream Eater that you're going to be seeing a little bit later as we encounter the Lord of the Kirus. Basically a frog Dream Eater that's more or less there to be like a sort of melee partner for Riku to have. Yeah, let's take a fair while to get some of his Dream Eater abilities up, but don't worry, you will be seeing him in combat. He will be serving us as our knave, there to swear upon his honor to do us a favor for defeating his lord. But yeah, in the meantime though, Riku will be seeing a fair few different landscapes, not necessarily in this part, but at least in regards to, well, you know, character perspectives, a few new locations, and being stuck in a noodle kitchen. By the way, he also gets Faith Line, so yeah. You know, in terms of reality shift abilities, everything stays fairly staccato between Sora and Riku. I mean, they are meant to be doing the same test, but the fact that they're not together right now is a crime against both homosexuality and, well, you know, the nature of the test. They're meant to be taking it together, after all.
Is anybody here?
Who are you?
I'm Riku.
Oh, my name's Quasimodo. I'm very sorry, but the Archdeacon is away.
Actually, I'm looking for a man named Frollo. Do you know where he is?
My master? He said he had business on the outskirts of the city.
Do you mean you know him?
Oh, yes. He's very kind. Master Frollo saved my life. He protects me from the outside world.
He protects you from it?
The people out there would be cruel to me. I'm a monster, you know.
Is that what Frollo told you? Trust me, looks can be deceiving. A good friend sees you for who you are, no matter what face you wear. You should go out there, find some friends who understand you.
Oh no, my master forbids it. I'm not to set foot outside.
Are you sure that's what's stopping you? Because I think something else is holding you back. Ask your heart, Quasimodo. I'll check the edge of town. Thanks. Wish I could take my own advice.
Yeah, very poignant advice from Riku, by the way. I mean, both in terms of the fact that, you know, sometimes you can give advice that you want to follow yourself, but, has learned from harsh life lessons that you can't exactly take to heart, but, you know, in turn also, you know, friends seeing you for who you truly are, regardless of, you know, what you look like, or what you're interested in. So there, Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's the ultimate feel-good movie for, introverts and people with monstrously ugly insecurities. But, I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm also crying, but, you know, it's really more to do with specifically how, you know, again, the world can be cruel, but at the same time, though, there really is somebody for everybody, you know? People will see you for who you are, it's just a matter of finding the right people to trust you, and, you know, you are gonna be hurt a lot, and, you know, it's important to open your heart. You'll be disappointed plenty, but not as often as you think, and, you know, when you do find those people that are truly worth cherishing and protecting, you know, those are the people that you're gonna cherish in your heart forever. But, anyway, that's enough sappy, slightly real-world problems to deal with. Here's a giant frog! As you might notice, 2 of the health bars were down when we first started fighting this thing, but yeah, this is Lord Kiru. This is pretty much like, what was meant to be a multi-game thing that's spanning all throughout the game, but yeah, take down Lord Kiru and you unlock the recipe to unlock him as a Dream Eater. I end up not doing that because I just lacked the ingredients to unlock him and I couldn't be bothered grinding for it, so yeah, consider this little boss fight Lord Kiru's, you know, spot in the sunshine. I mean, if he has any abilities that are different from what the regular Sir Kiru has, I'm not too sure what it is, but yeah, the regular Kiru, as you're seeing him fight alongside Riku with his orange colorization, I think they have very similar enough abilities, so yeah, Canada's both a showcase and, well, you know, a display of what, you know, all the Kirus really have in common. But in any case, so to kind of add a bit of an addendum to Riku's character arc, like, I mean, again, he's able to dispense advice, but I guess why a lot of people also fall in love with a lot of Riku's characters in the sense that a lot of the advice that he does give comes from experience, whereas a lot of people tend to feel like Sora's advice, you know, from follow your heart, Quasimodo, don't listen to the darkness, adhere to the light. It can risk coming across as very saccharine, you know, sort of childlike anime kind of wisdom in the sense of where they feel that their beliefs are righteous without any, you know, life experience to back it up. Whereas Riku's, on the other hand, you know, he does. He has that whole thing, you know, with his you know, his personal shame with Kingdom Hearts 1, following Maleficent and some Secret of Darkness and all that. But I would still argue that Sora does have a lot of his wisdom coming from a very different place. It's just the fact that, well, let's just say Sora's self-esteem is equally as, you know, challenged at points. Not just by, you know, Mr. Mysterious, you know, as we saw in the previous part, and his manifestation of Vanitas, but, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 does also tend to delve into the psychology of the Sora, and it does kind of delve into some of the sadness aspects that he had both in Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 1. If you'll remember, where he desperately needed Donald and Goofy to sort of lift him out of that. So yeah, Sora is very heavily reliant on his friends. Riku, on the other hand, tries to shoulder everything on his own, but also, at this point, is coming to understand that he does need others in order to survive and function properly. So again, like, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts' main cast, like, I mean, I don't feel like a lot of the epithets about, you know, oh, trust in the light, friendship, whatever, comes from nowhere, as a lot of people might think that it does, but yeah, there's a lot of aspects at play. I think where a lot of people tend to get a little bit, you know, frustrated with it, is that a lot of the dialogue just tends to get lost in, well, I think I coined the term in, you know, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, is that it tends to get lost in, Jedi speak. Speaking of which, Riku using a surfboard, that's basically Lord Kiru's, you know, Sir Kiru's, Dream Eater Merge Motron. Gotta go surf in USA, or Japan, Okinawa. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. But anyway, the salient point being is, yeah, Jedi speak, and I guess for those of you wanting to know what the term is, it's basically speaking in philosophical epithets and, you know, in a very flowery, abstract way that, you know, is, I wouldn't say is completely out of the realm of, you know, how we talk in the, you know, the real world and everything. It's just done more so in a way that feels very sort of out of step with how most people would explain something. Like, for example, you know, oh, you must follow the path of the light and that will lead to clarity. It's, you know, whereas somebody in the real world would say, okay, just have a moment to clear your head and, you know, make sure you understand what's going on so you're not tackling the problem when you're, you know, clouded by insecurities and doubt or whatever. You know, that kind of thing, where we try and make it as easy to digest as possible without using so many words that people may or may not be educated on. Difficult, I know, but I mean, at the same time, there are very different ways of, sort of explaining problems and aspects of life, and, that's, I guess, is where the vast scope of language is meant to lead us, into many different terms, terminologies, and not even just the English language specifically. I mean, you know, you have German words such as angst, you know, in that language meant to be fear, but, you know, in other languages is meant to also encounter turmoil. How words are twisted and, manipulated to discover language and chemical reactions between our brains. Everything's chemical, so it seems. But in any case, though, well, that's enough, you know, rambling and epithets for one day. Let's enjoy Big Marie, and, yeah, it seems that Riku doesn't encounter any of the gargoyles, much to my shame. But yeah, I suppose another part of the reason why people also like to consider Dream Drop Distance the Riku game, on top of the fact that, well, you know, apart from getting explained a lot of the very similar plot points that we already had explained in Sora's story via the gargoyles, yeah, Riku seems to have a much more personal connection towards, you know, Quasimodo, at least in a spiritual kind of sense. And, yeah, is dealing a little bit more directly with the plot as, you know, as he's going off to explore, you know, Judge Frollo, Captain Phoebus, and, you know, really getting a little bit more directly into how they're plotting an attack on a lot of the gypsies and everything, and, you know, in turn, why a lot of these Dream Eaters seem to be bopping about the place. So again, in that sense, Riku being closer to the action probably does make him a little bit more appealing in the eyes of a lot of players, but I don't know. By that same token, there are just certain aspects of the story that I feel wouldn't really work without Sora, which is part of the reason why I'm a lot less, you know, chuffed about his whole thing about Sora sort of being included as playable simply just because people missed him, but yeah, I suppose it's very apples and oranges. Reach out to touch faith as we destroy the yams. I'm sure there's religious symbolism about sacrificing your livestock. You know, it's very Cain and Abel, one might say. But in any case, though, as we have another big, round, open city Motron to explore, I think we really just sort of need, we don't need to deal with the whole, like, destroy the flower pots or fucking whatever else we had to do beforehand, so in the meantime, I guess I might as well talk about Quasimodo as we're, you know, sort of exploring around the city, since it is kind of relevant to this part in and of itself and, his whole story arc. But yeah, Quasimodo compared to the Disney version and, you know, what we're seeing here, in the novel, he was a lot more socially inept, quite aggressive, and, Earlier on in the novel, much in the same vein as he's meant to serve, you know, Judge Frollo and the Archdeacon in this version, yeah, he was basically Frollo's lackey, for the lack of a better phrase. You know, he was aggressive and he was told to hide himself, and believe it or not, in the novel, it wasn't just the fact that Quasimodo was ugly that people hated him, it was also because he had red hair. I'm not really too sure what sort of social taboo that might have been relevant towards, you know, back in the 1800s in France, but, yeah, quite odd, really. I guess maybe it might have marked him as a potential foreigner, perhaps, if that was the biggest issue. But yeah. You know, in a similar vein to how, you know, appearances can be deceiving, you know, Phoebus in the original version, as I mentioned in the last part, was, you know, he was a golden boy, he was a good looker, but he was also an alcoholic lush and, you know, an egotistical bastard who just wanted to fuck women and, you know, get his end away. Whereas Quasimodo, on the other hand, you know, he was socially inept, he was deaf, and, you know, also quite aggressive, but when he grew to know people, like Esmeralda, you know, he grew to become quite friendly and, you know, really protected those he loved, which, again, you know, there's a lot of depth of character in that book, and, you know, I mean, while the Disney version doesn't exactly take a lot of the, well, at least from what I remember anyway, while it doesn't tackle a lot of those harsher edges of Quasimodo, sticks more for the whole, you know, tortured loner kind of aspect of his character and, you know, his design, obviously. I don't know, it's, I feel like it does give, like, the Disney version a little bit more bite, given the source material in and of itself was quite dark and, you know, I mean, the fact that the Disney version was also willing to tackle some aspects of that, I don't know. I guess maybe it gave it a bit more staying power than most, in a lot of people's eyes, which typically tend to be quite saccharine, or... Well, I don't know, really. I guess maybe some of the darker elements maybe might have turned people away from it, at the very least during the Disney Renaissance era, where it was overshadowed by so many other, you know, films that I guess maybe would have been a bit more lighthearted in tone. I don't know. I can't really say for certain because I'm not really, you know, much of a Disney guy. I mean, again, I came into Kingdom Hearts more as a fan of, you know, the Kingdom Heartsian elements as opposed to Disney, so yeah, I can't really say for certain. Though that being said, I should probably go out of my way to rewatch the Hunchback of Notre Dame movie at some stage. I do remember it fondly from my childhood, and, who knows, it might be a fun watch to see again, and maybe have a greater appreciation for it, you know, as an older dude who is also monstrously ugly like Quasimodo. And I also have fears of darkness, but my master keeps me locked up. My master, Chaos, my little cat, she's just like, meow, Skully, you're ugly, and I'm your only friend, so stay here and give me food. Yes, I'll stay here, my meowster. Yeah, but regardless though, just killing the Dream Eaters and wasting some more time, we should be leaving right now. But we gotta give Riku some enjoyment, and I suppose in turn I was also doing that to build up you know, the link gauge with you know, Sir Kiryu over there, so we can keep on surfing. Surfing USA, wob 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 wob, dubstep remix. Wow, that genre of music is old, dude. It's like over 10 years old now, but in any case, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time, well, we're gonna be meeting some old friends.
And a big one. What? Not like this is fair. No use. I gotta run for it.